and I'm with Oban Jones, Will the man, G is filming, and we just want to kind of give you a bit more of an insight into the B-decks, the Bumblebees and the Killer Bees, and who better to give you that information than the two guys behind it and the one designer who put everything into it. So do you remember like when we first came to you and asked you for this idea, and
yeah,
it changed so much, didn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah, just in that first conversation, by the end of the first 40-minute conversation, we were at a completely different point to where we started.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
I think we'd already, because you came to me with one deck,
Yeah.
and then it split up into two about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And we started building on top of that.
It was a very rushed job as well. I remember we wanted them before like Christmas.
Yeah.
And that gave you like what, 2 weeks to finish everything.
Yeah, pretty much start to finish. I think it was about 3.5 weeks where I slept about 3 hours a night, just getting this stuff done.
So the original idea was, do you remember the white bee idea?
Yeah.
So it was just a white bee deck, but then the team kind of all collectively decided to go all out and make something very different, and you just finished some designs for us already for our illusionist. So yeah, you were the guy, and this is what came out of it. So the Bumblebees and the Killer Bees. Do you remember like the direction that we were given for the Bumblebees?
The Bumblebees seemed to be a little bit looser when we talked about it. It was we had this idea of something soft, something friendly.
Yeah.
So I sort of took that and just ran with it and went with that sort of romanticised idea of Victorian beekeeper.
Yeah.
Sort of the lone little chap in his little cabin somewhere.
Yeah.
Just nice and soft, nice and friendly, but something quite authentic as well.
Yeah, and the kind of information that we wanted on the Killer Bees was very different, but I remember one thing that worked really well for us, which was like giving you like complete creative freedom.
Yeah.
Like saying just do what you want, and you made some storyboards and we showed them to Brad Christian, and he was like over the moon. So he kind of just left you up to it to a certain level.
Yeah, I think with the Killer Bees, it was when when you showed him the pips, and then sent me the photo of everybody looking at the pips. And they're just like, cool.
Yeah.
I was pretty much left alone on the Killer Bees, and until the very final tweaks.
Yeah.
So that was because I think the first cuts I did with the Killer Bees were like really out there.
Yeah.
I'd gone too far. You couldn't tell what the hell we were. So yeah, you need that, especially when you're doing really creative stuff. You need that something to draw you back in.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you make something that might look really cool that you're very happy with, but has lost its function.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where the Killer Bees got to, and sort of pulled them back in.
I remember I think the one thing that stayed the same, which we both were excited about from the start, was the box for the Killer Bee.
Yeah.
Like that gold on black and a completely black stock.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that never changed, despite how much everything else changed along the way. But that turned out so good.
Yeah. Just that centerpiece. I think the only thing that's changed is there was a Chinese symbol on there for poison.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing that's come off.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it looks better without it on there anyway.
Yeah, I think it is too. So I don't think people will have seen like the stuff that you hid on the box. It's not really hidden, but
no,
it's right there in front of you.
Yeah, hidden in plain sight.
But can you like point it out?
So yeah,
you can kind of see what
we've got. KILLERBEES. So you got Killer Bees, got Oban Jones, Daniel Madison. Alright, yeah, so Illusionist Killer Bees, 12 courts, 40 regular numbers. You got Killer Bees playing cards. There's one here as well.
Is that Jack Queen King?
Oh yeah, Jack Queen King on the flat.
I like that little hidden little hidden thing.
I love doing stuff like that. Just something sort of next level. It's that kind of detail.
And you can't always tell, like in design, what something's going to look like when it's, produced.
Yeah, I had to make this box 3 times because the way it's made, to get this to sort of flow all the way around.
Yeah.
Everything had to be absolutely sort of millimeter perfect.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of keep printing it out and building it to make sure it was going right.
Yeah. And we pushed quite hard for USBC to get the narrowest possible borders on there.
Yeah.
And this deck just looks beautiful when it's kind of fanned out and when the deck's spread. And I remember the beads on the corners being quite a last minute idea. Like
it was in the centre.
Yeah, it was
in the centre for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Brad, I think he wanted them to be constantly visible as you found it.
Even in the smallest file, like you can see him just peeking out.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest call of the whole thing, to be honest, because I think it just works.
So each core card's different. Like I know that sounds like it makes more sense than it does, but like the jacks, you didn't just do one jack and then change the colours. They're all different.
Yeah, the front for the bumblebees and the cuts for the bumblebees look a lot more ornate and a lot more complicated. These took the longest because they all had to fit within that sort of honeycomb pattern.
Yeah.
Because I wanted that honeycomb to be core to the whole thing, so everything had to slot through in certain ways.
Yeah.
So everything had to line up to that. To actually make a face out of and fit within a honeycomb, it's not easy.
One thing we don't have like do we have the jokers for these? Is that one that was already open?
Yeah.
Open this. I love the jokers in this deck. And I don't want to kind of sound offensive to anybody who might be watching this, but I'm not sure if a lot of people understood it.
Yeah.
Or do understand it. But I mean, when you showed us this, I was like, oh man, that's so cool. But basically, what Oban's done on the bees is the pretty much the cycle of the bee's life, and if like the first one, for example, shows how the bees like populate the world. And it makes more sense when you see the next one in comparison, because if the human gets in the way and stops that process, then we all die.
Yeah.
I won't go into the full details of that. It's something that Brad's obsessed about, but basically without bees we're all dead.
Yeah. What is it?
I love that message.
4 years? Is that
4 years?
Is that what Einstein reckons? He's a smart dude. He knows his stuff. Yeah, 4 years.
He knows his shit.
He does.
Okay, so there's the bumblebees.
Yeah.
So look.
Yeah. The goddamn bee puns on this thing. Beat you over the head with them.
Where did they come from? Is it from Brad?
No, I was just coming up with them on the fly.
Okay.
It's I think I'm better at puns than I'd like to admit. But yeah, I wanted to have a really classical look to this. So like, all the pips are like really chunky.
Yeah, you boxed them all in as well. That's such a good look.
Well, I wanted it to look like the funny little beekeeper basically made himself a deck to play solitaire with.
Yeah.
Like he had some paper and made his own deck.
And you've hidden a bee like in each one of the core cards. I'm not necessarily hidden, but there are bees in all the core cards.
Yeah, it's just nice to have those little details that sort of follow through.
Yeah. You first got approached to kind of work on the Prohibition decks.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago, and just like basically pulled me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember who it was, found some of my work. I think it might have found some of my work. Just started talking to him, and
you hadn't done anything related to
no,
playing
I hadn't
cards
done
before
anything with playing cards before. Couldn't. Basically, sort of snap was my level of playing card knowledge. It was But yeah, I just started working with them. Just loved it.
When you did, like, you worked on the Prohibition stuff, and then Madison Presents happened a bit afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was looking for my own kind of, like, a designer that could put my ideas into like making reality.
Yeah.
And then it became Madison Presents was about me working alongside other artists. And I think it was Brad I was talking to about the idea of finding someone in the UK. And Brad says, Oban, who worked on the decks that you've done.
It's quite nice. I seem to have been quite high to the, quite close to the top of the list.
So I remember getting in touch with you and like we came up with the sleepers so quick.
Yeah,
and it was such a quick idea, and
it's just from spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
Like developing and evolving them to.
And it became such a good deck, and such an easy deck when you get somebody as creative as you, and I don't know, you just kind of every idea that we had, you just brought it to life straight away. And so since then, since the sleepers, which is one of my favorite decks today. You ended up working with Illusionist.
Yeah.
So now you're on the team.
Now I'm on the team. I'm full-time staff.
When people see this video, there's things that you've done that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll see them soon.
At least three.
About three.
Quite cool things.
And you're coming to the Illusionist Summit.
Yeah.
In the new year, so everybody will see much more of Oban as part of the team member. I think for now we'll kind of shut this video down and welcome Oban to the team.
Thank you.